Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, moving on to Venezuela. Venezuela's interim government is signaling readiness for a new approach with the European Union and Britain following talks with their envoys. Foreign Minister Yvonne Gill has emphasized the need for opening channels of dialogue. The EU, which had previously imposed sanctions on Maduro and supported opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, is keen to explore new areas of collaboration with Venezuela's new leadership. The discussions covering topics like energy, education, and pharmaceuticals were described as frank and cordial. This comes as after U.S. forces captured Maduro and his wife on 3rd of January. The move has led to steps towards restoring Venezuela diplomatic ties severed since 2019. Let's listen into what the Venezuelan Foreign Minister Yvonne Gill has said.
Hemos repasado el estado de las relaciones entre Venezuela y los gobiernos de la Unión Europea, de países de la Unión Europea, del Reino Unido y de la Confederación de Suiza. Allí hemos coincidido, creo que ha sido el tenor de esta reunión, una reunión franca, cordial, amena, hemos coincidido en la necesidad de avanzar en una etapa de relacionamiento productivo, de abrir vías de diálogo cada vez más profundas, cada vez más intensas.
Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Sol Sutka. He's a political commentator, joined us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Mr. Sutka, for staying with us. Now, looking at this, how do you think, how is Venezuela's interim government going to be interacting with EU countries? And do you think EU is willing to take this olive branch that's lended out from Venezuela right now?
The Venezuelan government, so far as we can understand, is going to do what the Americans tell them to do. Because the day that they don't do what the Americans tell them to do is the day when their oil money, which is really their only income, dries up. So the United States, by capturing Maduro and imposing what is essentially a naval blockade, a controlled naval blockade, limited, but nevertheless sort of an economic naval blockade, gets to call the shots in Venezuela. The Venezuelans can talk to whoever they want, but in reality, they have one boss, and that is President Trump. He is, in effect, the president of Venezuela, and everyone else are essentially puppets at the moment. And the European Union really has nothing to say at all. If they want to buy Venezuelan oil, they want to make deals with them, that's going to go through the United States, or at least it's going to have to be approved by the United States. That's how it looks to be playing out, but things there are very fluid and unclear at this time.
And it's still unclear, exactly like you rightfully mentioned, how legitimate would the talks be if Europe moves forward by talking or by engaging with this current government of Venezuela?
Essentially, Trump has decided that things are going to work differently now in the Western Hemisphere, and the word legitimate doesn't really interest him. You can call him illegitimate all day, and he'll just shrug. So all these issues are, it's very 2024. This is 2026, and these things don't seem to matter anymore. The reality is as realists have always been saying, which is kind of that might makes right. And Trump has decided that he's quite sick of being the only major power in the world that doesn't play by those rules and plays with their hands tied behind their back. And he has cut off the shackles and is doing exactly what other nations, such as Russia, have been doing. For decades, Russia has completely disfigured much of Africa simply for pure resource extraction. It's currently extracting the human resources of Africa and sending them to the front lines in Ukraine, where they are dying by the thousands. So the United States decided, well, if all these people are playing this dirty game, why should we have entirely white hands? We are much more powerful than them, and we will throw our weight around a little bit too.
Right, and lastly, Mr. Sarka, do you think that Well, right now we don't exactly know even about this one, but how do you think how are governments around the world seeing Marina Correa Machado's role, the Peace Prize winner's role? Do you think she's welcomed back into Venezuela to take this position from interim government?
What the other nations are thinking is unknowable. What matters really is if Marina Machado shows back up in Venezuela, when in effect the military, Maduro's military, are still in day-to-day control, even if they are limited in their actions by Trump and his people. Will she just be killed? Will she have any popular support? Or will that lead to an overthrow of the military? It's unclear. It's unclear what the American government wants. It could be that Trump is holding out the Nobel Peace Prize winner as essentially a prize, a reward for more liberal, say, nations to say, well, if we will put her in and hold free elections in Venezuela, if that's what the future will be for Venezuela, then you're going to let us continue with our naval blockade and resource extraction. That could be it. It could be some kind of quid pro quo. It could be that Trump, as he often does, takes extreme position, only to then compromise on the position that he was always happy to have, and thereby extract compromises from other people.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Sol Sotka for joining us today and sharing that insight throughout our news. Thank you very much. Now we move to focus on to our next news. The G7